Right, hi lads and lasses, and welcome to Darts Coaching with Dynamite Dave. It's been the first video in a while, and it's going to be a cracker. This is August's edition of A Chuck and a Chat. Right, hi lads and lasses, and this month's A Chuck and a Chat is going to be an absolute cracker. I've not made a video for a while, so what we're going to do is we're going to have a bit of a marathon. You're going to enjoy it, you're going to find it entertaining as well as informative. We're going to do a load of bits and bobs. We're going to do some new stuff and hopefully some old stuff as well. Runs over some old bits and bobs. We're going to have a bit of a Q&A in it. So like I say, it's going to be a bumper one, this one. So hold on tight and catch the ride. So here we are over in section 1, so we can call it section 1 if you want. What we're going to do in this month's A Chuck and a Chat, and I've been thinking about doing this for a while and I'm really looking forward to it. I'm just hoping that it's as entertaining and enjoyable to you as it is to me. And what we're going to do is we're going to have a bit of a walk down memory lane. So let's start off with the first video. The first video is from right back in the beginning when we were in the man shed. It's not the first video, it was video number 3, and it was an explanation of the mechanical throw and the reasoning behind it. And let's see how that progresses through the years. And what we're going to do is we're going to look through, and hopefully it'll encourage you guys that have not been here that long to actually go into the video section on my page. So dead easy, just go to my page. It should be in the top right hand corner of what you're watching now. If you look, it'll have my little logo. If you click on that, it'll take you to my page. Obviously do that after you've watched this video and at your leisure. One thing before we go any further, don't forget, please like, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you'll see my new videos as they come out. So anyway, let's get on with today. So let's get on to the first video, and what we're going to do now, look at video number 3 from the archives. Hi everybody, this is the third in the video series of hints, tips and advice for beginners. Now in the last video I covered the stance and addressing the board. Caused a bit of controversy among some of the dart players out there, and what I want to do today is I want to talk a little bit about the mechanics of it, to try and explain what I was trying to get at. Now even if you're starting to play darts now, or you're a seasoned player and you've been playing for years, it's the same as golf. Now here's a good example. You can go and get a set of golf clubs, get onto a golf course, a municipal one, and just start whacking at the ball. The chances of you getting it anywhere where you want it to go are very slim, and it's exactly the same with darts. All that's different is the degree. When you whack a golf ball, it goes somewhere into the distance, and you go and pick it up and it could be 20 yards away from where you want it to be. Exactly the same with darts. When you throw a dart, if you're not actually throwing the dart correctly, then the dart is not going to go where you want it to go. And this is what all those dart players are trying to achieve, is to get that dart to go exactly where we want it to every time. Now, if you stand on the hockey, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate a different darts throwing style, which I've actually witnessed myself. This is more exaggerated, obviously, to make a point, but if you get the dart and you aim it at the board, and then as you're going to throw the dart, you move back, you move your arm forward, you move it across your face, and you throw it at the dartboard like this. And I have seen people throw darts like this. Now what's happening there is you've got to get every one of those elements absolutely pin perfect every time for that dart to land in the same spot. So if you're doing this, you've got your arm is moving across instead of moving in a straight direction. It's moving across your face, which makes it so you've got to move your face out of the way to try and attempt to keep your arm in a straight line, which means that as you're doing that, your elbow is naturally pulling in. So as you go to release, the dart is going off in a strange direction. You're compensating that sometimes with your fingers and sometimes with the sway of your body, trying to pull the dart back to where it needs to go. If you get a good stance on the hockey and you get a good arm action, what you've got to do is good arm action, keep yourself straight, keep this all nice and still. So throw, throw, throw. Now what I was trying to explain was, if you throw him the way that I throw, all that's moving is your arm. So you've got, in theory, two elements to think about, which is your arm and your release. So if you keep that constant all the time, whether you're aiming at the treble 20, the double 10, at the double 16, at the double 18, the throw is the same all the time. All you're going to do is move your body to where it goes, and the throw stays exactly the same. When you go down for the 16s, what I do is I adjust my body position to throw downwards and try and keep the arm action consistent all the time. Try and throw the way that I'm attempting to show you is a good way to throw, and if you think what I'm saying is common sense, then have a go at it. You can't lose anything, but like anything, it's uncomfortable to start off with, but it will become second nature and it will improve your darts. Thanks for watching. Right, so did you enjoy that? That was great. That I thought it was good because that was like my first experience of people asking questions and questioning what I was doing, because obviously it was brand new. Nobody knew anything about the Dynamite Dave way, because I'd not really taught anybody apart from two lads in the pub, and the videos were just starting to gain a little bit of momentum. Not many views, just a handful of views here and there right back in the beginning, but enough to encourage me on to make more and more videos. So you'll have seen in that there's a few questions underneath it there, and some of them, as we'll go through the years, you'll see some of them are not very pleasant and some of them are absolutely fantastic. But I think that hopefully gives you a little bit of a background into how solid a theory this is, and it's continued right the way through the 10 years. So now what we're going to do is we're going to move forward a few years and we're going to get on to one of my first ever darts reviews. So let's go and have a look at that. Hi lads and lasses, welcome to Darts Hints, Tips and Advice with Dynamite Dave. Quite an exciting day today because I've just received my new Red Dragon darts. Been in touch with Red Dragon and I've got, for the use of, these new Delta 2s. As you can see, they're my shape of dart. These are the new Delta 2s in 24 grams, and they also do them in 26 grams. They do a straight barreled version as well, in the same, I believe. And yeah, they're a very, very beautiful dart to look at. Very nice, very eye-catching. But the main reason why I've had these darts are the new Axis grip, which is very similar to the Shark grip, but it's got like a V groove every so far round in the dart. Now, I had the darts in my hand. I've not thrown them at the board yet because that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do another video after this and I'm going to throw them for you. You're going to see my very first ever visits to the board with them, and just let's see how they fly and what have you. Now, one thing I do want to say to you about new darts, a new set of darts, when you buy them, is in the old days you used to be able to go down to your local sports shop. We had one in our little town centre here, and he'd have 15, 20, 30 even sets of darts all stuck in polystyrene, and you could go in and he had a dartboard up against the wall and you could go and you could pick whatever darts you wanted, whatever shape you wanted, and have a few throws with them. If they didn't suit you, you put them back, you go and get another set until you find a set that do suit you. Unfortunately these days,
because of the internet biting and structure and what have you. Unfortunately, you have to buy the darts now, so you could be shelling out 20, 30, 50 or up to £100 for a set of darts.
Right, so that was my first ever darts review. I don't know, I don't think it was probably as good a job as I do of it now, but it's still just sort of like, it warms me out when I look at stuff like that, and I just... Right, I'm just in the middle of editing this little section, and I just wanted to let you know I've cut in here because you can see something's happened to me there. And what I want to do is, I was looking through the archives while I was actually recording this, stopping and starting the video, and something caught my eye that like just knocked the wind out of my sails. And this little clip of a video, it's not 100% to do with the actual video I was making today, but it was just something that as you can see affected me greatly, and it's just something that I'd like to remember, and I'd like you lot to remember. And anyway, just watch the video. Hi lads and lasses, welcome to Darts Hints, Tips and Advice with Dynamite Dave. Come to you today on a very, very sad note. Most of you will probably already know Eric Bristow, the father of the modern game, passed away last night. He had a heart attack outside an exhibition that he was doing in Liverpool. Very, very sad occasion. I could go on for hours about Eric. What we've got to bear in mind and what we've got to remember him for is the great things that he did, the great things that he achieved. What we can't forget is that Eric was the father of the PDC, along with some of the other professionals. Don't forget, without him we wouldn't have had the PDC, we wouldn't have had Phil Taylor, because it was Eric Bristow who made Phil Taylor, and I'm sure Phil is absolutely devastated today, as a lot of us are. Grown up with Eric, watching him on everything from playing Leighton Rees on grandstand, right the way through the 80s in the world, the Embassy Championships, onto the Lakeside. Obviously he became the world champion a few times over, to say the least, and he was a revered character for the simple reason is he knew how good he was, and he didn't mind telling everybody how good he was, and he really was that good. Yeah, I remember him saying to me once when we were at an exhibition, he said, when you're famous like I was, he said, in the 80s, he said, you can't win. He said, if you buy a round of drinks, he said, you're a flash bastard. He says, and if you don't buy a round of drinks, you're a tight bastard. He said, so you can't win. So, like I say, quite a few anecdotes I could do, but I'm not going to, because to be honest with you, I'm a bit too upset. Fantastic player, fantastic ambassador for the game. He went round for years and years and years. After he got dartitis, he went doing exhibitions all over the country. Fantastic ambassador for the game. He's had a lot of tapes with Phil Taylor on telly and doing the Classics tour and stuff like that. So I just wanted everybody to know that Eric Fingy, rest in peace, mate, and we're all going to miss you. We're all going to miss you terribly. Thanks for watching Darts Hints, Tips and Advice with Dynamite Dave. And despite everything, lads and lasses, toe to the hockey. And it just lets me know that what I'm doing is absolutely right, and what I'm doing I've got to stick to, and I've got to actually just keep ploughing forward. As you've probably noticed over the last few months, I don't make a lot of videos anymore. The simple reason is I've got that much coaching, and this was the beast that I sort of half-hoped wouldn't come to fruition, because I enjoy making the videos, I enjoy you guys, and I've got to try and figure out a way of fitting everything in. It's becoming more and more productive, but I'm getting less and less time. The stuff that I was moaning about 2 years ago, 18 months ago, 2 years ago, and before that, before COVID, I was moaning about it. I thought my work level was, I thought my workload was a lot then, but it's probably half of what I do now. But I'm losing weight, as you can see. I'm losing a bit of weight and what have you. I feel a little bit more energetic, and I've got a little bit more energy to do things because I'm doing them. I've just got to keep doing them. So now what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at one of my first live coaching videos that I did for somebody, and these were just something that my wife said to me, why don't you do online, why don't you do coaching videos? And it started off with coaching videos, not online. I was doing them, and it was just started off like it does, just one or two in dribs and drabs, and then because I was so fortunate, because 99.9% of people do not want to go on the internet. They do not want people to see that they're having darts coaching. They don't want other people to know that. Why? I have no idea. But I'm not going to play it all. I'm just going to chop it up and what have you, and edit it down so as it doesn't last too long. And then what we'll do is we'll move on to something else. Right? So let's go and have a look at that. What we're going to do today is a personal coaching video for a chap called Lee Miles. He sent me some videos, and what he's done is asked me to analyse his videos, doing a personal coaching session for him, and this is it. Right, so what we're going to do in there's going to be 3 sections to it. Section 1 is going to be the front view and what we've seen from the front view. Section 2 is going to be the side view, what we've seen from the side view, and section 3 is going to be pointing out where I found the anomalies are in his throw and what he can do to improve them. So Lee, here we go. Section 1. So here we are in section 1, and we're going to have a look at the front view. As you'll see, I've slowed it down into slow motion so it exaggerates and it shows you exactly what I've seen and what I'm going to advise you to do and why I'm going to advise you to do it. Number 1, because your toe is facing the hockey, instead of you being, I'll do it right-handed like you, instead of you being like this to throw your darts, you're stood like this. So that automatically is pushing your arm over to one side. So you're throwing from the front of your body instead of throwing from the side of it. If you go like that and close your body off, you'll feel where your arm stops, and that will give you a fantastic level of accuracy, that, because it goes to where your arm stops moving like that. You can feel a resistance, and if you throw from there, you'll find that will keep your arm on a very, very straight trajectory towards the board. Also, as you're going to throw the dart, I've noticed, and this is probably another thing because we're quite short and you're leaning forward, as you're pulling the dart back, you're moving your head backwards out. I don't know whether it's out of the way of the dart, I think it possibly might be. But what you're doing is, as you're coming back to throw the dart, it looks like you're trying to look over the top of the dart as you're throwing it. So if you watch down here in the corner, you'll see your head goes back like this as you're throwing the dart. The problem that you've got with that is if you keep your head steady and you're looking at something directly in front of you, you've not only got with your eyes, you can't only see things, you have something that's called depth perception. So that is when your brain is calculating how far it is from your eye to the dartboard and back again. So as you're throwing the dart, if you're moving your head, your depth perception is changing. Now it changes at probably 10 to 15 times a second. However, your brain has got to calculate the changing in the difference and also transmit that, then process it and change the way that you're throwing the dart, all in that split second for it to land in the right place. So what you're doing there, again, is, as I've mentioned before, you're putting another anomaly into your throw. So every little bit where you're moving about, put something more into your throw. The more you put into the throw, the more you've got to get absolutely bang on for it to be accurate all the time. If you don't want it to be luck and you want it to be because you're throwing for a 180 and you know you're capable of hitting a 180, then that is what you've got to do. You've got to take all these anomalies out of your throw. Now if you watch, and this is great, this especially for other people as well as yourself, that you'll be able to see exactly what I'm talking about. Now if you watch, when you set yourself up to throw,
and you're standing, your arm comes up to throw, and half of your ear is behind the line, and then as you're throwing, your head's coming forward. So again, what you're doing is you're changing your distance between you and the board. So this is where a lot of your inaccuracies are going to come from. These are only seem like very, very minor things, but they make a massive difference to how the level and standard that you play at. Don't forget my old saying, a millimetre at the fingers is a centimetre at the board. So every time you're getting a little bit of a difference in your throw, for every millimetre of difference you're getting in your throw that your brain hasn't got the time to recalculate and compensate for before you let go of that arrow, means that you're missing by a centimetre on the board. And when I've looked at the board footage that you've done at the end, it confirms it, absolutely confirms it, because you're hitting 1 or 2 20s and a 5. You're hitting maybe a treble 20 and then a treble 5 and then a 1, or 2 20s and a 1, or 2 20s and then a double top. Right, so lads and lasses, thanks for watching Darts Coaching with Dynamite Dave. This has been a personal coaching session for Lee Miles. And don't forget, Lee and everybody else, you'll never get out of this game what you prepare to put in. And so to the hockey.
Right, so that was oh, brilliant, that one. I really enjoyed that. I remember it was nerve-wracking filming it, if you know what I mean, because it was like I wanted to make sure that it was really good quality and I got the message across that of what I could see, if you know what I mean. I had to make sure that I got the angles right and everything for people. And this chap actually probably did me about 10 videos, which was great really, because he sort of like he helped me along by doing different videos so I could see the best angles of where I could see where things were going wrong. So yeah, great stuff. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go over into section 2. Right, so what we're going to do, it's a little bit dark, I'm sorry about that, but it's part of a chuck and a chat. I'm going to have a couple of legs with Dynamite Dave, 2 legs, probably 3 maybe, I don't know. We'll see how it goes, see how well with Chuck. So this is just going to be part of it. I've set it all up live, so let's have a bit of a chuck. That's who it's me. It's me to throw first, and I'm against droid number 12. '83. Oh, 140. 3. Boom. Dynamite Dave way. Does work. 3 darts. Get it to work in a sec. There we go. Done. Bit something in my eye there. What we got there? 83. Bit lower scoring than before. Yes! Boom! 137 out. And that means I win 2-0. 3 darts. 2-0. That'll do us for today. I hope you enjoyed that. Let's get on with the next section.